Happy Friday, December, what is it, the 15th or the 13th? I forget what today's date is. I'm so sorry. Every day is kind of feeling, December 13th, Friday 13th. Wow. I'm going to choose to look at it in a positive way, not in a negative way. Um, Welcome to another live session. Today we're going to talk about signs of spiritual attacks and why you might be experiencing spiritual attacks and some of the symptoms and signs that might be associated with spiritual attacks. So, this is really important because this topic is, about certain, sometimes we feel we might get really overwhelmed and things like that. And rather than thinking that it's overwhelmed, it might be a spiritual attack. And also, it's also about making a transition or a breakthrough. And sometimes before you make that breakthrough, you experience spiritual attacks. So we're going to go through the different signs, different symptoms, and some of the ways you could alleviate those spiritual attacks. Let's clear the energy of the room, and then let's get going. Hi, Ella Watson. Hi, Kiona. Good morning. Thank you so much, Ella Watson. Okay, so let's clear the energy of the room, and then let's get started. So just relax, breathe naturally, be present in the now. Dear God, angel, spirit guides, and the masters, divine creator, thank you so much for allowing us to create this sacred space. Thank you so much for allowing us to bring in all your wisdoms and messages on this topic of signs of spiritual attacks for the highest and best interest of the beautiful souls in this room. Thank you so much for removing any low frequency energies that do not belong in this room, that do not serve the highest and best good of everyone in this sacred space. So thank you for protecting this room and removing any low frequency energies. Thank you so much for allowing this session to go off without a hitch, to go off with flow, ease, peace, and serenity. Thank you so much. And so it is. Namaste. Okay. Hi, Regine. Hi, Love and Light. Hi, Mary. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Okay. So today's topic, before we get in, I want to remind those of you who haven't completed our survey. As some of you may know, we're building an AI educational platform on traditional Chinese medicine healing system to support your health and wellness. And we want to get your input and feedback about what would what you would like to see in such a platform that would help you and your family's health and wellness. So here's a link to the survey, which is 69moons.co/consumers. Go to that link and please complete the questions and complete the survey because we want to hear from you. We want your input. We want your feedback about what would be helpful in such a platform for your health and wellness. I know that many of you might have heard about traditional Chinese medicine, but you don't really know much about it, right? So that this platform, which is going to be driven by a lot of AI, is a platform that could help you get educated about traditional Chinese medicine so you can make better health choices. Okay. Hi, Heidi. Namaste to you as well. Okay, so the topic is some signs of spiritual attack. Okay. So the first, one of the ways that the and I'm going to say low frequency energies. I don't want to say, evil or anything like that. I want to use a different language here. I'm going to say low frequency energies. Often, when you're ready to make a breakthrough or have a transition in your life, and you're ready and you're just at the verge of making that breakthrough in your life, and you don't even know that you might be making a breakthrough. What happens is sometimes these low frequency energies come in to bring you down, i.e., spiritual attacks, because they don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to be this light, be this love, be this shining bright light of making a huge positive impact in the world, creating, building. So low frequency energies about, bringing you down, making you feel unworthy, making you feel like you can't do it. so that you won't do it. And so just before you could be making a breakthrough in something in your life, whether it could be a career, it could be a relationship, it could be in finances, sometimes you will go through moments where you're like, oh my God, I can't do it, or you might give up just at the 11th hour, you might give up, or you might doubt yourself and things like that. And it's really coming from a rather than coming from inside, it's really coming from a spiritual attack of low frequency energies that do not want to see you succeed. And so some of the signs to look out for to know that it's a spiritual attack is first one is when you have this sudden, it's like a sudden overwhelming fear, anxiety, and stress. I'm not talking about like if if you've been stressed for 5 years, that's different. But if you all of a sudden have, it's like an overwhelming sudden feeling that just comes over you. Like one day you're sitting there, sometimes that happens to me where I'm just sitting or I'm just contemplating about something, and all of a sudden I get this rush of fear, rush of anxiety, rush of stress. That's a sign that it could be a spiritual attack because it's like all of a sudden, it's not like a prolonged thing, and you don't know why you're feeling that way, right? There are times when I'm like, why am I feeling so overwhelmed? Like there's nothing really happening right now that should allow me to feel this way. And so that's like a kind of attack. Because if you think about it, attacks are kind of sudden, right? When you're attacking somebody, it's kind of like it just comes. It's sudden. It's fast moving energy, right? That's why we call it attack. Attack means a fast moving energy. And so a fast moving energy would make you feel suddenly fearful, suddenly anxious, suddenly, and it's like this overwhelming feeling. And so that is something to look out for. That's one of the big signs that you might be going through a spiritual attack. And during these times, what you want to do is you really want to walk away from whatever it is that you're doing. So, one of the best ways to release that attack is by movement, like real movement. First of all, you want to say, what you want to do is you want to stand up tall and straight and say, go like this, so that you're cutting that cord, the energetic cord. And then after you did that, you say, I command you to leave my mind, body, and soul. I command you to leave my mind, body, and soul. So stand up straight and tall, and you could thump your feet down and say, I cut off all energetic ties. I cut off all energetic cords, and I command you to leave my mind, body, and soul. And be very, very assertive about it. I command you to leave my mind, body, and soul. So that's what you want to do. And then you want to do something where you're doing something physical, like you taking a fast walk, or maybe taking a swim, or maybe doing a run, or something that really allows you to release that energy, something that drains that energy from you. So think if you're swimming, or if you're walking briskly, or if you're running, or you're cycling, something that allows you to really drain that energy. Because sometimes if you have this attack and you're suddenly feeling this stress, anxiety, and fear, if you're trying to, for most people, if you're just trying to do a meditation, it's not going to work because that sudden fear is so overwhelming that you're trying to calm like this, that's not going to work often. What you need to do is you need to kind of match that high energy with another high energy to drain it down. And the way to do it is by physically moving. If you can't run, then take a brisk walk. If you can't do like these really high level, exercises, then do a brisk walk. But if you can run, you can swim, you can cycle. Those are those are high power physical activities that will help you really drain that energy. You want to drain that energy of fear, stress, anxiety. Okay. Number two, another second sign is when you're going through extreme self-doubt. All of a sudden, you're overcome with extreme self-doubt. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. How am I going to make this work? Doubt about yourself and your abilities, your talents and gifts, and your ability to manifest. That extreme self-doubt all of a sudden takes over you, right? And you're questioning everything about you, everything about yourself. You're feeling really low. You feel like you don't deserve it. You feel like you're not smart enough. You're not good enough. And it's relentless. It's like almost like kind of like it just overcomes you. When you're on your course and you're doing the things that you should be doing and you're very well on your course, but all of a sudden you have this extreme doubt. Am I good enough? Can I do it? Am I smart enough? Of course you are smart enough. Of course you're good enough. That's why you've come this far. You've come the far and you're at the verge of that breakthrough because you are smart enough. You're good enough. And all that you've accomplished kind of goes by the wayside. All of a sudden, you feel you're not good enough, right? All that you've accomplished, you're kind of like putting it in the garbage when you should really be patting your back. Wow, I've come this far. And I'm going to continue on this journey because the reason why I've come this far is because I'm smart enough. I'm creative. I'm employing my talents and gifts. I'm good enough. And that's why I've come this far. But when all of a sudden you feel like you're not good enough, all that you've accomplished kind of goes by the wayside at that moment. And that's a sign that you might be going through a spiritual attack. Because again, the low frequency energy wants to take you down. So, how do you take somebody down? You beat their confidence, right? You beat their confidence low, and you make them feel like they're not worthy. You make them feel like they're not smart. You make them feel like they're not good enough, right? That's what you do. You just batter their confidence and allow them to have this massive self-doubt so that they wouldn't continue. They won't make that breakthrough. Like I said before, a lot of times spiritual attacks happen just before you're ready to make that breakthrough and transition to the next level of your life. That's when it often comes. So in some ways, it's kind of like, oh, I'm experiencing spiritual attack. Oh, it must be that I'm on the verge of something, a breakthrough, right? So you could frame yourself and think of it that way. But if you're so confident and you know you're good enough and you know you're smart, you're going to make that breakthrough, right? So the low frequency energy wants to bring it down, wants to bring that down, allow you to have self-doubt, not feel worthy, not feel good enough, so that you can't break through. So that's another major sign of a spiritual attack is extreme self-doubt, sudden self-doubt about yourself. And so what do you do during these times? There's lots of things that I do. I would do the mirror work, the Louise Hay mirror where you put a mirror in front of you and say, Moon, you're good enough. Or if it's Regine, hi, Regine, or Heidi, Heidi, you're beautiful. Heidi, you're good enough. Heidi, you're smart. Heidi, you've come this far. Remind yourself during the times of what you've accomplished, all that you've accomplished. And then it's because you were smart, because you were good enough, because you are worthy that you came this far and that you're going to go further. Like you're going to go, you're in the 11th hour. You just need that one more hour. So remind yourself of all that you've achieved and say, wow, I achieved those things and I've come this far because I'm good enough, because I'm smart, because um, I'm creative, right? Remind yourself and do the mirror work like with Louise Hay, where she goes in front of the mirror, says, Heidi, you are smart. Heidi, you are beautiful. Heidi, you are good enough. Heidi, you have talents and gifts. So remind yourself of your worth. Remind yourself of your worth and say to that low frequency energy, I command you to leave. I command you to leave my mind, body, and soul. I command you to leave. I command you to leave. Again, say that. I command you to leave my mind, body, and soul. Command it to leave. That you know that there's an awareness, that you have an awareness of the spiritual attack. And when you call out somebody, like, then it's like almost like the energy, that low frequency energy doesn't have anywhere to go and it's going to leave. Okay. So remind yourself of all the things that you've accomplished and all that you've done up to this point, because if you weren't worthy, you weren't smart, you weren't good enough, you could not have accomplished that. Okay, so if anybody just has a question about this topic, let me know. Let me know. Because I think this is an important topic to signal that you are really on the verge of making a breakthrough, making a transition, transforming your life to a higher level. You're leveling up. And right before you level up and you actually make that breakthrough, it's like the 11th hour, and you're ready to make that breakthrough, and the universe is ready to show it. You can be experiencing these low frequency spiritual attacks so that you don't make that breakthrough. Okay. So that is why that spiritual attack would happen, because you're on the verge of making a breakthrough, but it's trying to prevent you from doing so. Okay. Affirmations, yes, of course. Affirmations are wonderful. Write down those affirmations and say it out loud, and say it in the mirror. Them down and say in the mirror. Mary, you are good enough. Mary, you're smart. Mary, you've come this far. Mary, you've accomplished a lot. Mary, you're creative. Mary, you're resourceful. Mary, you're good enough. Like that. And doing it in the mirror is very helpful. It's very, very helpful. And I love that tip, doing it in the mirror. Okay. Hi, Ranchi. How are you? Makes sense, Moon. I feel it. Oh, I'm glad that it makes sense. Okay. Heidi's. Okay, let's see. Um, oh, Kiana says, feeling it right now. It definitely came out of nowhere. Oh my God. Okay. So apply the tips that I mentioned, Kiana. Okay. And let's all send Kiana, let's all send her positive energy. We ask you, divine spirit guides, light, please guide Kiana in removing that spiritual energy from her energetic space, her mind, body, and soul. Please protect her, guide her, and show her the way to remove those low frequency energies. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Heidi says, when these attacks started on me years ago, I would literally crawl upstairs and fall asleep for hours. That is probably the last thing I should do is sleep right. I'm more vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there sometimes when you go to bed, that's when spiritual forces can really come in, into your mind, you know, because you're kind of passive, right? And it could come through your dreams and things like that. And so I get it, because when you get this spiritual tax, it's draining your energy, right? When you have extreme emotions of doubt, fear, anxiety, whatever, these low frequency energy, it's going to drain your energy. So you just want to crawl into bed or crawl in a corner or hide in a basement, or right? Like, because it's too much. It just feels so overwhelming and it drains you energetically, right? And so it's a natural feeling that you would want to go to bed and crawl in that bed. Um, Next time I would try this. Next time, go outside and take a brisk walk and see what does for you, rather than crawl into, if you can. If you can. Now, if you feel like you really can't do it, then at least, and you have to crawl into bed, at least do the command. At least do the command and say, go like this and do the command, do uh, the verbal command. Leave my body, leave my mind, leave my soul, leave my energetic space. Do a command. And also maybe do like a really quick sage burning or bell. Open the window and do a bell, ring the bell or ring or get sage, and make sure that energy is going outside the home. So maybe just do that, before you crawl into bed. And the thing is this is that at least if you've done that, then you've signaled to the and call upon your spirit guides. You say, spirit guides, I ask you to please protect me and guide me and be here with me to release these low frequency energies do not serve. Call upon your spirit guides to help you. Call upon them. I call upon you, spirit guides, Archangel Michael, who's the warrior of protection, right? Archangel Michael, or the spirit guide that is your protective spirit guide. Call upon them and say, I call upon you to release and remove these low frequency energies from me. Okay. So at least do that. If you can't go and do physical, you feel like physically you just cannot do that. But I hear you. I hear you. Hi, Sarah Johnson. Sending much love to you, Heidi, as well. Okay, Sarah Johnson says, my ex-husband has sent me psychic attack yesterday. It makes me feel dizzy and panicky. Okay, wow. Yes, that's another thing. So the third thing, so this is this you're actually what you just said is a segue to my one of the third signs is lack of clarity or focus, feeling lost. And so when you're feeling lost, you feel dizzy, like it's almost like, oh, I don't know, clarity makes you feel confused. That confusion makes you feel dizzy. So there's again that extreme feeling of confusion, lack of clarity, lost, like you don't know, you know? And that's also a big sign of spiritual attack. It could be a sign because think about it, the low frequency energy wants to confuse you, right? Doesn't want you to have clarity. It doesn't want you to have focus. Doesn't want you to have, you know, a real sense, a real sharp mind that is zoned in on making that breakthrough, right? When you have confusion, when you have lack of focus, it creates dizziness. And when you have dizziness, how are you going to break through? How are you going to level up and make that transition to a higher frequency or higher level in your life? So having that extreme like loss of clarity, loss of focus, feeling lost, you know, and that dizziness is one of the symptoms. That is also can be a sign of a spiritual attack. And I'm so sorry, Sarah. So Sarah, you know, do an energetic cord break. I don't know if you were here at the beginning. Do an energetic cord break and say, I command you to leave my mind, body, and soul. I command you to leave my mind, body, and soul, and do an energetic cord break and do a cleansing and allow that energy to leave your home through the window. Okay, light and love. Wow, I have been sleeping a lot too. Yeah. Sleeping can be because one of the things is that they can come into your dreams. And I've had situations where I knew that I was having almost a spiritual attack in my dream because I'm dreaming these really low frequency things. And you know, I felt I was going through a spiritual attack through my dreams that I've dreamt and the quality of the dreams and the feeling when you get up from the dream and the sleep, you feel like really depressed, lost, like you feel just like lethargic and lost and depressed. So I definitely know that feeling, Heidi, and light and love. I understand the feeling that you go because I've had those. And I knew, it was like, oh, I knew that low frequency energies were coming in, trying to take me down. So you have to be aware of that. Raunchy, that's when I feel it the most early mornings and night when I'm not as conscious. I notice that I have to get up as soon as possible. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing, Ron. At least you're aware of it. You're very aware that such things are happening to you. So that's wonderful that you're aware of that. Sarah Johnston says, I get sleep disturbance and keep waking up in the night. My ex-husband is awake at night, so an ideal time to attack me. Oh, you're saying, okay, I hear what you're saying that. You're saying that, okay. And how do you know, Sarah Johnston, that it's from your husband? How do you know that? How do you have dreams of him or something? Um, how do you know that it's coming from him? I'd be curious to know that. Ella Watson, do those low frequency attacks occur even when you are not about to make a breakthrough? Is stress and guilt also a spiritual attack? Yes, stress is, like I said before, stress, anxiety, fear is one of the biggest ones. And guilt, yes, guilt can also be because think about it. If you feel guilty, then how are you going to make a breakthrough? So your question is, do those happen, when even when you're not about to make a breakthrough? Yes, it can. It can happen when you're not about to make a breakthrough, but during those times, it could, it could also be that it trying to prevent you from doing something that it doesn't want you to do, maybe on your way, to becoming self-reliant, becoming independent, becoming a self-thinker, right? And it's almost like you found yourself and it doesn't want you to find yourself. It wants to keep you in a certain hole, keep you in a certain box, right? And so it could also be when you might have some awareness of yourself that makes you independent, that makes you feel like you can do things, or when at that stage where it might not be an actual breakthrough, but it is a breakthrough mentally, emotionally, that you might have a breakthrough that, wow, I am worthy. I can do what I set out to do. It could be, it could be when you even have a certain awareness of yourself that makes you independent, that makes you creative, that knows that you have a certain level of confidence that you can move forward. Maybe and that's like an internal breakthrough that you're having, as opposed to, when I talked about breakthrough, I was talking about more of an external breakthrough. But yes, if you're going through some internal breakthrough, where you're shifting your mind, you're shifting your attitude, you're shifting the way you see things, the way you see yourself in the world. That's an internal breakthrough. And yes, you can have it during those times as well. Anytime you're going through some kind of breakthrough, whether it's internal, external, I think that's when the spirit, those low frequency energies want to come in so that you're not lifting yourself up, you're not leveling up. You know what I'm saying? And when you make those internal breakthroughs, you are leveling up. Okay, Heidi, yes, that is what I do now. I immediately go outside and chit chat with the squirrels and birds. I do call in my spiritual team. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, you chit chat with the squirrels and birds? That's amazing. That's beautiful. Animals are one of the most healing. I find animals to be the most healing energies that there ever is. Animals and nature, truly. Those two things are to me the most healing. And that's why I feel like I can't live without my dog Happy, because he's everything to me, and I'd be devastated without him. And he is getting older, so, but I agree. I think animals and nature are so healing to the mind, body, and soul. Okay, you're welcome, Heidi. Um, is nightmare, sleep paralysis, spiritual attack? It can be. It can be. Because it's coming into your psyche, and so nightmares can be a form of that because it's trying to disturb your mind, right? It's trying to disturb, and what better way to disturb your mind than nightmares? So it can be. So what I would do, Ella, is when you wake up, write it down. Write down the description of that dream. And so that's what I try to do when I wake up. I try to write it down. Write it down. Hi, Norseman. How are you? Great to see you. Okay. Okay. Hi, James. Hello, Moon. I'm wondering if I'll possibly get this job I interviewed for to transition to a new period of my lifelong. Um, okay. Are you asking me to do a reading? Because I no longer do I Ching Oracle readings because I felt like I was getting spiritual attacks with that because uh, people were pretending to be me and going to my audience and offering private readings for money. So it was a money scam. So I stopped. What I would focus on, James, is not whether you're going to get it. I would because the universe has your back. It's about how you channel that energy. So I would say, you know what? I know that if I get, if I don't get if I get it, that's wonderful. But if I don't get it, that means that the universe want to show me something bigger and better. So that's the way I would look at it. I wouldn't put all your eggs in this basket. I would say, you know what, whichever way outcome is for my highest and best good. And if I don't get it, it means that the universe wants me to keep looking, wants me to connect to something better. The universe wants to show me. That's the better word. Show me something better. So you don't want to make it about hinging your entire life in that job. What you want to make it about is I am in the flow. I am going to move with the flow of energy. Because when you move through with flow of energy, that's when things you should really start to connect because there's no resistant energy. When you're all tied up and thinking, am I going to get the job? You're creating this anxious, resistant energy. Like, I'm nervous. Am I going to get it? Am I going to get it? That's creating a resistant energy. And resistance energy does not create flow. What you want is flow. And when you have flow, you're being guided to the steps that is going to bring you to the right job, a good job that's going to honor you, that's gonna truly be the right fit for you. Okay, so that's the point. You want to be matched with the right job. Um, I missed the beginning. I have found core break rituals online. I use Sage too. Oh, wonderful. You're welcome. Hi, Sarah. I actually have a core break meditation. I have a core break guided meditation, which I can share with you the core break guided meditation. Where is it? I have it here. Let me try to get the whatchamacallit, the whatchamacallit, the link to that guided meditation cord. Um, Let me give you the link to that guided meditation so you could use it for your link to cord break meditation. Okay, so here it is. Here's the link. Okay, okay, so Sarah says, hi, Botanical Bro 888. Nice to see you. Sarah says, I know because he has always said he's a warlock, and when he can't control me, he uses dark energy. He also admitted to doing it. Okay. Wow. That's amazing, Sarah. That's incredible. That's unfortunate that, you know, but at least you know what? Give yourself credit for not being in that relationship. Give yourself credit for that, you know, for not being in that, for having the courage to not be in that relationship. So give yourself a lot of credit for that. Ella Watson, I think I experienced a spiritual attack on Wednesday. I got a lot of orders from a client, and as I was about to fulfill, I experienced a lot of stress. Nonetheless, I managed to deliver. Okay. That's interesting. Well, congratulations for getting through it and delivering all those. And congratulations for getting a lot of orders because that's a signal of abundance, right? So you're lucky that you're attracting abundance because getting a lot of orders is attracting abundance. So that's wonderful. Ms. Moon, I often hear negative voices in my home. At one point, my visiting sister says she heard sinister laughing coming from a speaker in my house that wasn't plugged into anything. Yes, that's what you do. Well, what I would do is I would take every tool that there is to cleanse the energy, you know, to cleanse the energy of the home. Open all of the windows, take bells, take sage, and say a mantra. Say, I command you to leave. I command you to leave this home. Clear the energy of the room. Open the windows and say, go around. And make sure that if you're using the bell that it's clean. Bing, ding, ding. I command you to leave. I command you to leave. I command you to leave. And also say, I call upon my spirit guides to help me remove this low frequency energy. I call upon you, spirit guides, to help me remove this low frequency energy. So use all of those spiritual tools to allow those, command those low frequency energies to leave your house. Use them. Okay. And then I would visualize after you do a cleansing, I would visualize a beautiful bubble around your home, like an energetic shield. You can call on the dragon energy. You can call on the Archangel Michael energy. Call upon that. I call upon dragon energy. I see two dragons that spit a fire and create like this energy bubble around me where there's fire that's kind of emitting. And so because of the fire, the energies, low frequency energies can't come through. Okay, so do that. Okay, let's see who else has any question. But these are all really wonderful questions. Um Norseman, you got attacked by a squirrel? Oh my God, Norseman. Oh, I'm so sorry. They could be very dangerous if they're aggressive, even though they're small, because they're so fast, they move so fast that they could be dangerous. And they have like they have pretty strong teeth, right? Because they eat nuts. So think about how strong their teeth is. Wow, Norseman. That's amazing. Uh, Hi, Arpita. Okay. SK, I'm struggling with discernment. Do spiritual attacks cloud intuition? Okay. Spiritual attacks do, and I know you weren't here before, but the one of the symptoms is you have sudden confusion and you have a sudden lack of focus, lack of clarity. That is one of the signs of a spiritual attack. Is all of a sudden you don't know why you're confused. You don't know why you feel like dizzy. So dizzy would be a sign. It's like all of a sudden, like, why am I confused? Why do I have a lack of clarity, right? Because the low frequency energy doesn't want you to have clarity, you know? Because if you have clarity, then you are a powerful person. So it wants to confuse you. So yes, it can be a spiritual attack when you have um, lack of clarity. You're welcome, James. Um, you're welcome, Sarah. Sagittarius Lab. Hi, Sagittarius. My mom's a Sagittarius. Her birthday's December 10th. Good evening to all watching from Philippines. What is the message for me now? Yeah, Sagittarius, I'm not doing any oracle readings with that. So I have no message. Not doing those readings anymore. But you can ask me other questions, Sagittarius Lab, and I will be happy to answer. You're welcome, Ella. Ella, oh, I call upon Archangel Michael and Jeremiah. Wow, that's wonderful. Botanical Bro 88. You're welcome, Botanical Bro 888. You're welcome. Heidi Gold, intention is huge, and I've told my kids absolutely no, without a doubt, that the light wins over the dark. I agree. I always think that at the end of the day, that light will always win over the dark. But there's always that yin and yang balance, right? The reason why I think there's a reason why the dark exists is so the light can shine. You know, it's like that those two opposing energies that are always, dancing with each other, ebb and flow, you know. And so our purpose is to go get closer and closer to the light each day, a little bit closer to the light. That is why I feel that we are here as we learn these lessons in this life. We get a little bit closer to the light when we learn a lot of life lessons in this time space reality. And I agree, intention is huge. Intentions are massively huge because intentions are literally your broadcast a signal to the universe. And so the universe, you always want to be communicating with the universe, the divine, your spirit guides. You want to keep that communication open. And so when you're setting an intention, you're keeping that communication open. It's a two-way street that's going back and forth. And so that's why you want to set those intentions and you want to say it out loud. That's why a lot of my videos, short videos, there's a lot of intention setting or saying things out loud because you're signaling to the universe. That's the reason. Um, oh, you like the bubble visualization? Great. Yeah. Use that. Use the bubble visualization. Um, Oh, yes, Heidi Gold, bubble up whenever I'm leaving the house. Absolutely. I do the same thing. Before I go to an like an event, like tonight I'm going to a holiday party and I'm going to be bubbling before. I usually do it in the car. I sit in the car for a couple of minutes and I do a little meditation. I call upon the dragon energy to bubble and I usually wear this. This is a dragon black crystal to protect my energy. So that's why I wear this for that reason. Oh, your dad is Sagittarius? Wow, happy birthday, belated birthday. No, my mom is December 10th, not me. I'm born not in the winter. I'm born. My mom is December 10th. But thank you so much. Balance is needed. Absolutely. Okay, so does anybody else have any questions? So just to recap, usually the spiritual attacks will happen when you're ready to make a breakthrough, whether it's an internal breakthrough or an external breakthrough. It's because the low frequency energies don't want you to make that breakthrough in your life. And so some of the signs, the three signs that I have mentioned is one, suddenly feeling this rush of fear, overwhelming anxiety, stress. It's like a sudden feeling and you don't know why it's come. Number two, extreme self-doubt. All of a sudden, you have this rush of self-doubt, like you're not good enough, you're not capable, you're not worthy. Extreme self-doubt, number two. Number three is a lack of clarity, like you're confused. All of a sudden, you're not sure, you're questioning everything, you're confused, you don't have the clarity, you don't know which way to go, and you might some of the symptoms might be a dizziness or a headache, right? So that could also be a spiritual attack. So I've gone through all the tools of what you can do when you're experiencing those things earlier before, what the tools and remedies can be. So just be aware, okay, of these attacks. And I hope I've given you some tools to be able to remedy these situations. Okay, so let's do a closing prayer now. Uh, the environment and surrounding for today's live is so peaceful, and I almost fell asleep. Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad, Ella. You're glad that it happened. Okay, so again, for those of you who've never completed a survey, we're developing an AI educational platform on traditional Chinese medicine healing system, and we want to get your input and feedback about what you would like in such a platform that can support your health and wellness. So the link to the platform, 69moons.co/consumers. If you go there and you complete that survey, you can help us to understand what is it that you would like in such a platform that can really help. Again, it's an AI educational platform focusing on traditional Chinese medicine healing system. Okay, wonderful. Okay, let's do a closing prayer. Dear God, angel, spirit guide, send a masters, divine creator, thank you so much for allowing us to create this sacred space. Thank you, all of our spirit guides, for coming in, protecting this space, sacred space, and protecting us from any spiritual attacks that will lower our frequency, because we know that each and every one of us is an eternal energy of infinite light that can make breakthroughs and level up, and that we are very aware when we might have a spiritual attack and have these remedies to be able to release those low frequency energies. So thank you so much for being here with us and protecting us. Continue to guide us, continue to be with us, continue to share your wisdoms and messages so that each one of these beautiful souls can manifest their highest potential of who they really are. So thank you so much for your continued support, your continued guidance, your continued wisdoms, your continued protections from spiritual attacks, and most importantly, your unconditional love. And so it is. Namaste. Okay.